Well, hi. Sometimes conversations either about Jesus or the big questions in life are sometimes hard to start. And so let me just offer a starter for a conversation. The topic is forgiveness. Now, forgiveness is when you make a decision to release somebody of whether a hurt or a mistake that they made towards you or something wrong that they did. You just release them, you forgive them of what they have done towards you. So that's forgiveness. And so let me just begin with a question that you could answer, and that is, one, have you ever needed forgiveness for something that you did, of a hurt or a mistake that you made towards somebody? And maybe have there been times where it's been hard to forgive others? The Mayo Clinic is a place that we can find reliable medical knowledge. If you have a question, the Mayo Clinic is a good place to go. And if you were to go to their website and look up forgiveness, you would find several articles, but each of those articles talk about the health benefits of those who are forgiving. And so, for example, those who are forgiving, they have lower blood pressure, they have better mental health, they also have better immune systems, along with other healthy benefits. So there's some questions that come to. These are from published medical studies that this article is based off of. And so from this evidence, it seems that we are made to forgive. If we don't forgive, then we don't experience those health benefits. If we are forgiving, then we do experience better health. And so here's a question that comes from that, just as connection with forgiveness and physical health. And that is this: how do you think this evolution, naturalistic evolution, how we came, it tells the story about how we came to be as humans. How does naturalistic evolution account for this forgiveness, this releasing somebody of what they've done, especially in terms of if they're just trying to survive? There's another question. A third way, just to start a conversation on topic of forgiveness about Jesus, is that Jesus actually taught a lot about forgiveness. In fact, forgiveness is one of his central teachings. And he told a story that goes like this: that there was a king who called some of his servants to settle their accounts. And one man came forward, and he had $1 billion of debt. And it found out that the man could not pay it. And so the king said, put him in prison and sell his family into slavery until the debt is paid. And the man immediately fell on his knees before the king and pleaded, saying, have patience with me. I will pay you back everything. Now the king had compassion and mercy on him and forgave the man his $1 billion of debt and released him and his family to go and live. Now that same man was walking down the street and came across a neighbor who owed him $3,000. And the man confronted him out of anger and started choking his neighbor, saying, pay back what you owe me. And immediately his neighbor fell on his knees before this man and said, have patience with me. I will pay you back everything. The man ended up throwing his neighbor into prison when the neighbor did not pay him back. Now, there were others around who this troubled them, and they went and told the king. And so the king called this man before him. And he said this: you wicked fool, I forgave you an enormous debt to me because you pleaded with me. Should you not have forgiven your neighbor for a much smaller debt when he pleaded with you? In anger, the king threw the man in prison and sold his family into slavery until he could pay back the entire debt. Jesus finished the story by concluding, so shall God the Father do to every one of you if you do not forgive your neighbor from your heart. It's a challenging story about forgiveness. So let me just ask you some questions. What do you think about this story? What strikes you about the man's response to his neighbor? Have you ever responded that way to someone else? And what do you think about the king's response? Is there something that resonates with you about that? What do you think the world would be like if all of us followed Jesus' teaching to forgive each other from our hearts? I hope that provides some good questions and material for you to begin a conversation about Jesus and his central teaching about Jesus.